Cindy. And yes, it's been a long time. I've really slacked off on my video making, but I had someone contact me, send me a message. One of my subscribers to my Creative Heart Monday videos and some of my other videos. She sent me a message this morning wanting to know if something terrible had happened to me, or since I hadn't done a video in so long, and I was so consistent about it for so long. Excuse me, I'm trying to straighten up my desk here. And no, nothing terrible has happened. In fact, some good things have happened, which I'll tell you about in a little while. But I thought, I will make a video today, and the reason that I haven't, I've been busy with several things, but the main thing is I'm going to teach a summer art camp for kids starting on the 11th, and I've been trying to come up with projects and, get enough people signed up for the camp, advertising the camp and everything. I've just been really busy. But I need to work on some of these projects because I need to be sure of what I'm going to do. And my plan is the children are going to be 7 to 11. We might have a 12-year-old also, but around 7 to 11-ish. And so I want projects that, are easy enough for the 7-year-olds, but not so easy that the 11-year-olds and the possible 12-year-old would be bored with them. And I just want something, different than the regular things that, that I see. I've looked at a lot of videos, and just a little bit different than the regular things I see for children. And I've divided, the camp is 4 weeks, and each week has a different theme. And the first week is funky flowers. So I have to come up with 5 projects, 5 flower type projects. So I'm thinking maybe a lot of our projects are going to be on MDF board, because I have a lot of MDF board. But I was thinking, maybe something like this. I think I made a video when I did these. But maybe something like this, except we won't do the stenciling because I don't have a lot of the little stencils. and that may be a little too difficult for them. So what I'm thinking is do something like this, and then stamp whatever word they want to do on a book page or something, and then stick it on there and maybe, go around and shade it. But something like that. I think we'll do one of these. This is, actually this is not finished, but, something similar to this, very easy. But I think they'll have fun, doing the grass and using a lot of different colors. And then, let's see, do I have anything else out here? What I'm going to try to do today, because the first thing I want to teach them is how to do a background. Because several of the projects we're going to do, use like the basic mixed media type backgrounds that I do, where you've got some collage and then paint all over the place and maybe some stamping and different things. So I'm going to try that today and then come up with some kind of flower pattern, and you all can give me your thoughts afterwards and, tell me, no, that will be too hard for kids to do, or this would be better, or this way would be better. Whatever you want to tell me, be great. Anyway, I'm going to clean off my desk and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And what I have here is hair. I've got watercolor paper. With the kids, I'll use either watercolor paper or mixed media paper. And if any of you guys know of a place that I can get, the cheapest place to get watercolor paper or mixed media paper, because I haven't purchased that yet. But I have tons and tons of collage paper, and some of it is scrapbook paper, some of it's gel prints that I've made, you know, book pages and maps and all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to have big boxes of that because, of course, we'll be using it for numerous projects. And the kids can just pull anything that they want and use it. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see what these kids come up with. Now, this idea, the summer camp idea, was my friend Jennifer's idea. I was talking to her on the phone a couple months ago about me wanting to, you know, teach some kind of art lessons. I was talking about, you know, private lessons for adults. And then I thought, well, you know, maybe for kids, maybe birthday parties. Because I know that parents now, back in my day, parents would buy a cake. You'd invite a couple friends over, and that's it. That's a birthday party. But today, parents do all kinds of things. They plan little events and entertainment and stuff for the birthday parties. So maybe I could, you know, people could hire me to come in and teach everybody how to do some cool little art project. But anyway, while I was rambling on, she had this brilliant idea. It's almost summer. This was back in March. So people are going to start signing up their kids for summer camp. We should do a summer camp. And I thought, it's a brilliant idea. Of course, I didn't know anything about summer camps. I don't have kids. But it sounded like a good idea to me, and she's a second grade teacher, so she knows all about kids and teaching and rules and all the stuff that I don't know about. So it's going to be great. She's going to be there making sure that the kids are okay and well behaved, and that they get snack time and lunch time and all the things that I would just forget about. And I'll be teaching the art. So I'm looking forward to it. But I think I'll do this on the first day. I think I'm going to start out the first day with just some sketch paper, and we'll practice drawing different flower shapes and doodling flower shapes and stuff like that. And then we'll move into our first paint. The tricky part is that I have these kids from 9 to 2. So we have to, I have to have a project that takes up 5 hours, but can also be finished in 5 hours and dry. And because as you know, when you're painting, there's drying time in between, and a million things could go wrong. So of course, I'm totally overthinking it and worrying about that. Like, what are we going to do while we're waiting for this to dry in real life? I am going to bring a heat gun and several hair dryers. Not going to let the children use the heat gun and burn their little hands off. But Alicia is going to be there helping us. Alicia of the Cyndi and Alicia art videos. She's going to be helping us, so I thought, you know, maybe we can speed up the process by going around and trying to speed dry things. like I'm going to do now. Okay, so there. I just have some papers on a page, and I'm going to let it dry just a little bit. I'm just going to be putting paint on it, so I don't need to totally let it dry, but I want to get it a little more dry than it is. So I'll be right back. Okay. This is not dry, but it's kind of dry. Now the kind of paint that I'm going to use in the summer art camp, of course, craft paints, and these paints, which are Fine Touch, and I believe I got these at Hobby Lobby, and they're sort of like a heavy body acrylic paint. They're inexpensive, $6.99 for this, and you can use a coupon, so you can get it for 40% off, and they're pretty good paints. So let's see, I'll do what I usually do at this point. Let's do some finger painting. And my husband has a couple friends that have stopped by. It's Saturday, mid-morning, so you'll probably hear them downstairs. I'll try to talk loud enough so you don't. Let's see, let's maybe add some blue in. Now, if you've ever watched my videos before, you know that when I do this, I usually use acrylic inks, but I'm not going to do that because, you know, acrylic inks are expensive, and I'd never be able to, if I provided acrylic inks for everybody, there wouldn't be any profit. No profit for Cyndi and Jennifer, so we can't do that. So I have, and I don't know how this will work out at all, but I found some sprays that I made, and I made these quite a while back, and it's, and you'd never want to use this in a professional painting that you're going to sell, because I'm sure, you know, it's not going to go the distance. It's not going to last for years and years and years without fading, but for something like this you can. But this is, I think, Rit dye in water. But maybe we'll just spritz a little of that around, see what happens. And I think I'm going to try to go green. We'll add some green down here. And I do have gloves for the kids that are not into getting dirty, because I know some kids just don't like the feel of it. And of course they could use brushes too. Let's see. Let's put some. Let's see if the green works. Yeah, I have lots of these bottles I get from Walmart. Walmart, the store that I try to boycott, but always end up going in there anyway. It's terrible. Shows the willpower that I have, right? Okay. So I'll just mess around with this for a while, and let's see, maybe I'll get some skewers out and teach them how to do some mark making. My new pet peeve, and it's not my new pet peeve. Excuse me, I'm walking away for a minute. But my new thing is I'm trying to make myself, I'm getting so disgusted with Facebook and just all of the fake things that are on Facebook, and how easy it is for people to believe them. So I'm trying to, anytime I see something that is just false. I'm looking it up to make sure that it's false, or, you know, maybe I think it's false and it's true, and I can find out that it's true. And I'm making a point of pointing it out. And I'm not talking about things that are opinion type things, because everybody, you know, has the right to their opinion. You know, your opinion can be anything. But what I'm talking about are things that people put up that are just not true. And a lot of it is these memes and fake photos. They put up photos that have been doctored, and most of the time it's already out in the media. They've already been proven to be false, but the person putting them up doesn't realize they're false. And so they just keep sharing it, and it gets shared and shared and shared. And nobody bothers to take the time to point out that it's false. And I think we owe it. We owe it to, you know, if we're Facebook friends with somebody, we don't have to agree with them politically. But if we see them spreading a photo that's been doctored, you know, if they're a friend, tell them. Why let them keep doing it? And, you know, if they're, oh my God, I can't open this. You know, if they care, they don't want to spread stuff that's not true, even if it's something that, you know, they like and they'd like it to be true. You know, it still doesn't make it right. And that's the way we are. We see something that, you know, if we don't like Trump, and then we see something bad about Trump, we, you know, it's become, as sick as it is, it's become this human nature to want it to be true. And vice versa with the Republicans putting things up. I saw somebody put up a photo of Whoopi Goldberg wearing a t-shirt that had a picture of Trump's face on it, with a gunshot and it blowing his brains out. And the person that shared it thought it was true, thought that she really wore that t-shirt, but she didn't. You know, as soon as it came out, it was proven that, you know, she was at the place that day. She was wearing a t-shirt that day, but it wasn't at all that t-shirt. They had transposed this picture onto the t-shirt. And it looked real, but it just wasn't true. But, you know, it's been spread around millions of times. And people, like, you know, if my mother saw that, she would think it was true. She doesn't care for Whoopi Goldberg. So she would just think it was true. And, you know, we have to take a stand against this. It's just crazy. But anyway, that's my new thing, is that I'm trying every time I see something that's, you know, just out and out, provably false, I'm pointing it out. I'm not saying, you know, don't share your opinions. You can share your opinions all you want, although you should say, my opinion is, not state something like it's fact. And I know I've been guilty of that myself, you know, stating something like it was fact before I'd actually taken the time to look it up just to make sure it was fact. But I'm trying to do that now. Before I give my opinion, even, I'm looking to make sure that I have my facts straight. And I think we should all do that, because it's getting ridiculous. I mean, we all basically, and I've said this before in videos, we all basically want the same thing. People want the same thing out of life. But there are people out there with their own agendas who benefit by separation. by separating people, by making, you know, everyone think that the other person is just a heinous person who wants to, you know, murder children and eat children and all of this stuff. It's just, I mean, that's crazy. Crazy, crazy. Okay. So there we go. I'm not, speaking of crazy, I'm not crazy about this. It's too splotchy. Splotchy. Splotty, that's not a word. Let's put some water on it. We'll roll it around a little bit and see what happens. Just look, I'm so used to doing my inks. I'm trying to make this paint act like ink. That's not going to work. That's not going to work, but I can make it maybe less splotchy, right? Yeah. Anyway, so the kids will play around with this. And because this is going to take a while to dry, this might end up... Hold on a second, my husband's calling. Sorry about that. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, this, I think, will be a good time to take a snack break. Because from what I understand, kids have to eat every, like, hour and a half or something. Every 2 hours, every hour and a half, they feel the need to eat. So, shows how much I know about kids. Anyway, yeah, so we'll take a little snack break while this is drying. But you and I will just take a 2-minute break while I hit this with the heat gun. I'll be right back. Okay, this is fairly dry, so I think I'll do a little stenciling here and there. Let's see, maybe we'll put some of this in. What colors? How about some purple? Uh-oh. Oh, gotta go get a sponge. I'll be back. Okay, we're fairly dry, and I think I'll do some stenciling here and there. Try some metallic purple. I don't want this stenciling to be like really stick out a lot. I want it to be kind of faint. Anyway, what were we talking about before this? We were talking about fake stuff on Facebook. Okay, let's see, how about some... This is one of my favorite stencils. Yeah, I'm going to have to be really careful with my stencils and make sure, because I am going to let the kids use them. But I'm going to have to be really careful that I get them all back, right? What color? What color should I use? What color, what color, what color? Maybe this color. Put a little on here. I really need a bigger table. I need a much bigger craft table. I love the height of this one though. It's tall and I stand up when I'm painting. I just cannot sit down. I try to sit down sometimes, but I always end up, you know, just a couple minutes into it, getting right back up. I don't know what that says about me. The room that we've rented to have the summer art camp, oh, it's so cool. It's already an art room. Another organization rented it during the school year as an art room. So they have it all fixed up. And, oh, it's going to be great. It's great. It's, lots of tables and chairs, lots of room. It has a sink, it has a restroom, it has counters, tiny refrigerator, it's everything that we are going to need, okay? There we go. Let's see, what else can we do? Maybe some circles, of course. Have to have some circles. And let's use the white for that. What kind of gross. Look at that sponge. That's a mess. I'm going to have to buy some more makeup sponges. But I think I have most of my supplies purchased. And I'm going to teach them how to make their own stencils and rubber stamps. The other classes after Funky Flowers, we have Cool Collage the following week, and then we have Fly Like the Birds the third week. That's really going to be the hardest one for me. I haven't finished thinking of projects for that yet. So any ideas would be appreciated. And then the last week is all about faces. And I'm going to teach them how to draw and paint faces. And you might say, isn't that a little hard for 7-year-olds? And you might be right, but I think I can do it. I think I can do it. I don't know if you've ever watched Julie Fayfan Balzer. She teaches how to start doing faces, and I think I'm going to use her method. And I think it will, I think it'll work. We'll see. Okay, so we have some stenciling here. Oh, I want to do this too. This is something I'm going to teach them how to make. Some little roller mark making things. This is just a toilet paper thing with rubber bands around it. And let's see. Well, we'll use this color. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm just rolling it out like that, getting some paint on it, on the rubber bands. And I have some better things to use as handles. But right now I'm just using this. Let's see. Why is my hair falling out? But this is great for mark making. Actually, this handle isn't working out as well as the one that I used the other day. Let me get the one I used the other day. Used this one the other day, and it fits a little bit tighter. Cool. And we'll do that, and we'll do some where we put little dots all over, and we can put little squares all over. We'll use fun foam and decorate the toilet paper things and use them as little rolling stamps. I think the kids will like that. Anyway, okay, let's let this dry for a minute. Let me get the heat gun, and maybe we'll do some stamping next. I found this, you may have seen me use this before, but this is just a stamp that I made out of fun foam. And I think I want to add this before I start stamping with ink. Here's the pink. Oh, here. Here's the pink I just had. Let's see. I'll just apply this with my fingers like that. Yeah, I could do like a whole maybe hour section first thing in the morning about making stamps with fun foam. There we go. that, and I thought I just had another one. Oh, this flower one here. Maybe I'll do something with this and some purple. A sponge brush would make this a lot easier, wouldn't it? But I don't have one right here. Okay, I'll just go like this. And some of this we may need to tone down, or not. There we go. Go like that. Go like that. Okay, now I'm gonna let it dry. I'll be back. Okay, maybe I'll add a little, add some stamping here and there. Let's see. Oh, where's my favorite stamp? How can I not have that here? Ah, here it is, here it is. This is a flower stamp, but as you can see, I'm usually using this little part up here. And it's like little swirls everywhere. I love that stamp. Love it. Okay, maybe some words. And maybe flower. Let's see what this looks like. Looks like nothing unless you put enough ink on it, right? This is one of my favorite stamps too. This face, I use this a lot on cards. That didn't come out great, but that's okay because we're just texturizing, right? We're just making interesting little texture thingies. Let's see. Let's go around these. Uh-oh. See, I can't, when I have the pen in my hand, I just can't talk at the same time. How do people do it? How do they do it? Man, it is hot here in Florida. It's in the 90s today. It's June 2nd. So you know it's going to be a miserable, miserable year. There we go. I have no idea what this is going to look like. But, who knows? These kids might come up with some really cool things. Okay, there we go. Now we need to add our flowers. And I was just thinking about how I'm going to do the flowers, and I think I'm going to do it this way. I haven't done this in a long, long time, but take a toilet paper roll, bend one end, and I'm going to use it. I'm going to dip it into paint, use it as a stamp to make my petals. So Let me get some paint together and then we'll do that. So I'll be right back. Okay, I don't think I have enough paint here, but let's start. Where's my toilet? Oh, here it is. Okay. Let's try it. Dip it in there. And there's a petal. And there's a petal. And there's a petal. Another one. Okay, so there's one. And we can do one. Could do one with like 3 petals. Like that. Let's do... This is so funny. I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to pull this out. And how I always say, don't worry, you can always pull it out in the end. I have serious questions about that. Okay, so there are the shapes of my flowers. Now I need a paintbrush. I need a paintbrush. That's not a great paintbrush. Well, let's try it. Let's see. Just going to paint these. Paint them in. Like this. And you know what? I'm going to leave a little separation so we can see where they're overlapping each other. And then we'll do some shading in there. Okay. Like right there. And then right there, like that. Okay. I can hear my husband down there talking to his friend. I think they're having some kind of political discussion. Of course. It's all people talk about anymore. It's argue, argue, argue. Separate, separate, separate. Fear, fear, fear. Okay. Let's see. Some white. Uh-oh. That's right. This is the tight white. Can't get it off. Okay. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. All right. Let's just add little bits like that. Little highlights. Little highlights. And I think the kids will be able to do that, right? Sure they will. I can't wait to see. You know, there are some people, I've always believed that there are some people that are just born with talent. everything that I know, I learned from taking online classes or books or just watching videos. But I think there are people that are just born that way, and I can't wait to see, you know, will I have one of those kids? It's just born that way. And what can they teach me? Probably a lot. You can just hear them now. No, Miss Cece, you don't do it that way. You do it this way. That would be so cool. That would be so great. Okay. So how about some darker? I need some darker, darker purple. That's not darker. Is that all I have? No, that's not good. Okay, let me look for a darker color. I'll be right back. Okay, this is way too dark, but I'm going to use it anyway. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Let's see. Just want to add a little dark like this in the middle, and to add a little shading. Whoop. Definitely could use another brush here, but I'm not gonna. As you can see, I'm not great at doing this. Okay. Okay, there we go. There we go. Good enough. Good enough, because I'm going to use some pencils to do some shading and do some different stuff. So there are three of our funky flowers. And I got paint all over my hands. Okay, we need to make some stems. So let's get some, not that. Let's get some green. And maybe we can use a card to do this, maybe. Let's say, whoa. We can go like that. Okay, and this will come down like this. Definitely gonna have to grab a different color green, and we'll go like this. And that'll come down like this. Okay, and we need to make some leaves, so let's grab another brush. Let's grab a little brush here. Definitely need some darker green. Where's some darker green? Let me go find it. Okay. It's a tiny bit darker, not much. not much. Okay. There we go. Now, let's see, we need some little, we're going to have to do some more pen work. And we need some little dots in the middle of the flowers. So let me get Q-tips. Okay, I'm not ready to do the dots yet. I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to make dark blobs in the middle and then make my dots. Okay, dark blobs, then dots. Okay, now let me dry this up. I'll be back. Okay, I think we're mostly dry here. Let's do some shading. Do a little shading. Okay, this comes down like this. Whoops, that's not dry. It's definitely not dry there. Yeah, this is thick. I better stay away from those. But while I'm doing this, back to the Facebook thing. I thought of another one. This another tragic school incident. I guess this was back at the beginning of May. There was a stabbing at University of Texas. I'm pretty sure that's where it was, University of Texas. And almost immediately, there was a thing going around Facebook that the stabbing had actually been, it would have been much worse, but a student with a concealed handgun was able to stop it. And this was reported by Fox News and by Alex Jones. He put it on his site and I think talked about it on his podcast. But it ended up, very quickly, people found out that that never happened. The police responded almost immediately and confronted the guy with the knife and arrested him. And the police said, because they were questioned about the rumor that was out that there was another student involved and had helped apprehend this guy, the stabber. And they said, no, it didn't happen. There's no witnesses claiming that. There's nothing to that effect on camera, and the time frame doesn't allot for that to have happened. But what it was is a blog, and I can't even think of the name of it right now, but it's some blog that loves to put out fake stuff. And they don't claim that they're a news blog. They actually, I think their mission statement says something like, where people come every day to get their marching orders. But yeah, they made up that thing really quick, but it spread like wildfire. To the point where, Fox News is putting that on TV. And Alex Jones, he has millions of followers. They're all hearing this, and it was never true. And it's spread to hundreds of thousands of people, possibly millions on Facebook, who believe to this day that that actually happened, that, you know, a guy with a gun was able to save the day. Because of this idiot with a knife. But it's just, you know, it's just so important that, I mean, I'm sure that probably has happened before. I mean, that could happen. Somebody with a gun could save the day and get the better of somebody with a knife. But it didn't happen this time. It was a lie. It didn't happen. And we just have to be so careful about the things that we choose to just accept as true. It's like, oh, you know, that sounds like it could have happened, so I'm going to go ahead and share this with, you know, the 1,100 friends I have, or however many friends you have. And then they spread it, and then they spread it, and they spread it. So we just have to, as American citizens, we have to be more responsible about what we share. And I'm really making an effort to do that. I promise I'm never going to just share something. Okay, let's say I saw a meme or something saying Donald Trump kicked a puppy and laughed. You know, I would think to myself, well, yeah, I could believe that. Yeah, I'll believe that. But I promise I would never just share that. I would get to the bottom of it, find out if he really kicked that puppy and laughed before I shared it. And that's what we all should do. We just need to make sure that these things are true before we spread them. Right? Right. Because we are all basically the same. We all want the same things. We do not need to be enemies. Okay. Is that enough shading? It's enough for now. I have to go feed my friend's dog in a little while. I don't have any doggies anymore, so I have the opportunity to hang out with the dog for a little while. I miss my dogs. I miss them a lot. But I'm not getting another one. Not getting another dog anytime soon. Oh, I was going to tell you about, I said that actually I had some good things happen. And I told you earlier that I would tell you about that. You know, my husband and I are retired. And because we were both self-employed, most of our working lives, we had to develop our own, you know, retirement plan, because we don't get retirement from a company. And sorry about that, my camera went off. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we didn't have a regular retirement plan, like a 401k or something that you get, you know, if you work for a company. So through the years, we invested in real estate. We would buy little pieces of real estate, and our plan was when we got, and we'd rent them out, and then our plan was when we get older, we'll sell them, and that will provide our income in our old age. Well, it doesn't always work out because the economy can flip on you when you need it. Of course, you know, that can happen if you have regular retirement, because when the economy went bad in 2008, everyone's 401ks lost a lot of value too. And for the people who needed to retire at that time, I'm sure that was pretty devastating. That all of a sudden their 401ks were worth, you know, a quarter of what they had been worth. But anyway, yeah, the economy was bad for a few years. Real estate values went down at a time when we really needed to sell property, and it made things difficult. But they have gone back up, and we were able to follow through with our plan recently. So that was really good news for us. And I'll tell you what, it was a long drawn out, selling this one property was a long drawn out, terrible situation. We had a tenant who had been in there for 10 years. He was a wonderful tenant. He always paid his rent on time. But he was totally blind. And he had expressed several times that he'd like to buy the property. So when we decided to sell it, you know, I wanted to sell it to him because I knew it'd be a hassle for him to move too. You know, hard for him. He had 2 dogs. It'd be difficult for him to find a place, and just a hassle to move. Everything is a little more difficult for him. So I really wanted to sell this to him. And I spent 6 months, and it was 6 months of time when we really needed to sell that property. Just messing around trying to sell it to him. And I knew my better judgment told me that, you know, this was just not going to work out, and I needed to, you know, stop and just sell it to somebody else. But, you know, I was trying to, I felt bad about it, and I just wanted him to have the property, and I just wanted it to work out for him so badly, and I did things and believed things and agreed to things that I never would have before. Just, you know, continuing to give the benefit of the doubt. Finally, you know, I had to stop, and it sold quickly to someone else. But that was really hard for me because I've been told by people in my life, you know, oh, Cyndi, and it's probably because of the businesses that I've been in. I've always been in the real estate business, and I was also in the insurance business for a short time, but most of my life has been in the real estate business. And I've been told, oh, you know, Cyndi, you're negative. You're negative, you're always skeptical of everyone. And it's because I've seen so much happen, and it's true. I am. And as I get older, I try really, really hard to change that. I don't want to be that way. I don't want to think the worst of everyone. I want to, you know, trust people. And I think this was you know, one of those experiences where I knew what was happening, but I just didn't want to, I was trying so hard not to be that person. So I just, you know, kept trying to believe something I knew was never going to come to fruition. But anyway, it ended up working out, and that's good because it's a real relief for us because it was difficult there for a while. It's hard when you get older. You know, it's not like, you know, if you need money, you can just go out and get a job. It's very difficult to get a job when you're older. Nobody wants to hire somebody who's in their 60s. I'm not in my 60s. I'm 58, but it's hard. Well, no, I'm not 58. I won't be 58 for another couple days. But at 57, almost 58, it's still, you know, people don't want to hire anyone that age. They want young people that they can mold and that sort of thing. Anyway, I'm rambling now. So, what do you think? What do you think? I think a child could do this. What do you think? Do you think it would be fun for them? Do you think they would enjoy it? I think so. We're going to give it a shot, and we'll see what they come up with. But, yeah, I don't think there's anything in here that they could not do. Everything is pretty easy. You know, it's just layer after layer. And, yeah. So I think this is one of the projects that I'm going to do. And I'm going to check the time on this video. And if there's enough time, I may try to switch another, put another project in this same video. If not, I'll make a second video of another project for the summer art camp. But anyway, yeah. It was good to talk to you all today. Hope I didn't bore you to death. And I may be back in a minute with a second project, or this might be the end, and I'll do a separate video with the second project. So I guess you'll see that in a minute. Okay. All right.